The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good.
Hi, Tom.
How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome. Good morning. I'm Paige Clarke, and this is Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
That's right, Paige, to recover our natural health, regain our rights and freedoms, and I'm Nico de Haan.
And it's a beautiful day. In downtown Clearwater, we're finally going to see the sun at 76 degrees. Hope you're having nice weather. Where you are, make sure you subscribe to our Health Signals newsletter. You get it twice a month in your inbox. It has lots of clickable links to stuff that you can use to live longer, stronger, healthier, and wealthier.
That's right. I got the new one coming up next week. I got it all ready to go, so you'll be informed. Remind you to also pick up our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder, over 310 organic cell-ready liquid ingredients, so it's easy to take, all powered by our favorite two pals, fulvic
and humic acid, nature's miracle molecules. So we'll take your questions, too. You can email us anytime at paige@tfnn.com.
Or nico@tfnn.com.
And if you're up and at it, give us a call, 877-927-6648. That's right. Hey, listen, hot off the press, the Fittest Cities 2018 reports. They list the top 50 in America, and I'm proud to say Tampa Bay has made it on that list, number 37.
Yeah, that's not I don't know if 37 is that great, but yeah, we're on the list.
But, you know, as we're going over this, you know, I shared it because you and I are always talking about, isn't it funny? We're talking about the most fit cities when, in fact, cities are where we're...
Everybody is. Yeah.
Everybody is, and why would it not be that when we're out in the wild, you know, what if we were comparing the people in the city that are working under blue light conditions and gyms with because
weights. They're the ones in trouble, and they're the ones we're concerned about, right?
Yeah, well, that's true. Instead of maybe the person who's cutting down trees every day.
But you're right. I think if you're living in the wild, if you're living in the middle of a nice national forest someplace, or you living high in Colorado, I think things are pretty good.
Yeah, that's right.
But of course, it's hard to get.
But it's nice to know in general fitness is seeing an increase. And so do you live, for example, in Arlington, Virginia? So if you do, you live a pretty healthy lifestyle, according to this article. And this was the 11th Annual American Fitness Index, which has named the Washington, D.C. suburb America's fittest city. Well, how about that? All those government people.
Well, I always have trouble with the word fitness anyway, because fitness is more about exercise. That's the thought process. When I think of fitness, I think about working out. But our health has so much more to do with lots of other things, as we've been talking about these past few months.
Exactly. So really, there were regions that were previously accounted for, like Arlington, Washington, D.C., where, you know, they were evaluated on their own merits while Arlington took the top spot by just half a point. Minneapolis was right behind, and Madison, Wisconsin, and Portland, Oregon came out to number 5.
Yes.
I'm not really sure what all the criteria was, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and at the bottom of the barrel is Toledo, Ohio, and Detroit, Louisville, Kentucky, Indianapolis, and Oklahoma City. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how they're doing this, but let's go on.
But let's look at this. You know, if we look at the list, you know, it's... There were positive trends throughout the country in the last year as it relates to fitness. And here are some of those trends. 77.5% of adults in all 100 of these cities were previously active in the previous month. So shows that more people are doing a little more things. And 65% of residents in all cities got at least 7 hours of sleep each night.
I don't know how I get these surveys. Nobody's ever calling me.
I know.
I get calls, but there's nobody on the other line. So.
Here's another improvement. They say only 30% of adults reported eating at least 2 servings of fruit each day.
Yeah, so that's
It doesn't have to do.
calibration for fitness.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of
don't
these
think so,
people
either.
come up with stuff. 35% of the residents in all cities reported their mental health wasn't good in the last 30 days.
Well, if you're evaluating yourself, I don't feel too good, my mental health isn't that good, that's a
Right.
bad thing. I mean, I always say I feel great, so
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's interesting how they come up with these things. But either way, guys, let's share what are some couple ways that you can get fitness into your everyday
first of all,
life.
rankings are based on factors such as farmers markets per capita, park units per capita, level of state requirements for physical education classes, death rates for diabetes, the percentage of residents who are obese, and a percentage of residents who are currently smoking. So there's some factors that will probably
that was used to
determine-
that was used to
Yeah,
help
so that's good.
create their things. So getting to how you might build into your fitness into your day. Many people like to use exercise hacks to add more physical activity into their routines.
Yeah, I'll give you one I did the
It's
other day.
such a big business on Facebook nowadays. Everyone's hacking.
Well,
ways to do things.
my wife and I would go for these walks on Sundays, about 5 miles, a good walk to get ready for our excursion up to Colorado. So because of all the rain last weekend we didn't get, she went on the treadmill, which is a little different than walking on the street. It's different mechanics. And I don't like the treadmill that much anymore, so I went to work and I did my little bouncing on the trampoline for 10 minutes. And that's kind of a hack, because instead of walking an hour, hour and a half, I did a 10-minute regime that kind of correlates the same way because it's high intensity.
Well,
So-
right. And I tell you what, you can get so much lymphatic movement in that bouncing that you don't
Exactly.
get.
Yeah.
In other
So
times.
that's kind of like what a hack is. Another hack would be putting butter in your coffee to get the extra fat. Things like that are what hacks are.
So how do you work out on a budget, guys? This is my point. Do you have to live in a affluent city to be healthy? I don't think so. Working out on a budget, you can get in shape without shelling out big bucks, and you just get outdoors. That's my main thing. Get outdoors and interact with nature. Hug a tree.
And even
Jump on
in
a stump.
downtown LA, you can go for a run, you can go for a walk, you can do things, you can drive down to the park. There are plenty of parks in every city in America.
And also make every minute count. You can do these quick little bursts. For those of you that are busy trading, you're at the desk, you can get up, you can do stretching, you can just go to YouTube and pick up a 5-minute, try something new that comes out there. And, it's another way by incorporating small changes, you can get out there and make new friends and increase your fitness. And regardless of what city you're in, just make sure you're getting the best fitness for yourself where you're at.
Yeah, it's very important, that's for sure. We're going to be right back, folks. I'd like to remind you to pick up some Primal Edge during the break. This is what you need to be healthy, and we swear by it every single morning. Take that little shot of Primal Edge. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back to Living a Primal Lifestyle. Hey, Nico, you know, I have been kind of going down a rabbit hole that I consider to be more your neck of the woods, more in structural things in the body.
Okay.
And it really started with the teeth. And a lot of the research after my son Austin had his surgery for some craniofacial things, nose surgery, to help him breathe better, deviated septum, I started really looking into the role of orthodontia and structure. And, you know, there's, just like there's the alternative medicine movement, and there's that struggle between traditional medicine and alternative. In the dental and orthodontic world, there's the dental and orthodontia, and then there's the field of orthotropics, or neuromuscular dentistry, that sees the teeth and their importance in structure. I am just blown away, just to let you know.
Well, I know you're doing a lot of this research because of your son and you know the operations that he went through to correct some of the stuff that happens. It's very interesting because the article that you sent me over the weekend, they were talking about the jaw and how, of course, it's been shrinking, but the article was talking not like Weston A. Price was, talking about the food differences, but how we were using our jaws in earlier, where the food has changed. So it's not so much what's in the food, he's saying, it's the structure of the food that changed.
You got it. In fact, actually, in the world of orthotropics, and I really highly suggest if any of you all know anyone with children, you want to seek out orthotropic, notice the difference, not orthodontic, orthotropic care. The saying is, braces ruin faces. Orthodontia, we can get teeth straight, but are we doing the long-term right thing for our facial development and our structure? And why is that important? Because this impacts our breathing. And there is nothing more important than the structure that allows or inhibits our breathing and our airway.
That's for sure.
So, okay, so I kind of got on a little tangent there.
That's okay.
But
I like that.
So we're going to say that article that I'm going to share with you about the food. In the world of orthotropics, really what they're saying, and Dr. third-generation orthotropics, the founders of the orthotropic movement, Dr. John, who's older, very well-respected person, they're all in the UK, and his son Mike Mew. You can watch their YouTubes forever. And he's talking about this difference, this slight difference. Really what we need to see is a collaboration with these practices, like we should in everything.
Of course, yes.
But Mike Mew is a big proponent. Everyone, it's very thing, if you're not mewing, what are you doing? Okay, so what is mewing? Mewing is acknowledging some of the things that are important for facial and therefore airway, such as having the tongue on the roof of your mouth. Right. But their premise is we have melting faces because we didn't use our jaws right and we let our mouths hang open. and therefore the maxilla or the upper part of the skull is not supported.
So mouth breathing,
And leads to mouth breathing. And actually, I just listened to him the other night, and he said, I don't want you to keep saying mouth breathing because there's even people who hang their mouth open, but they're nose breathers.
Okay.
It's just this weak jaw function. The jaw is not in the right position, and as a result, our profiles change, and as we get older, many of us start to... Have you all heard about the epidemic of sleep apnea?
Yeah. Well,
Right, and of snoring and all of this. Well, this is a structural issue that has come about by the change in our structure. And the other thing he's a big proponent of, Mike Mew, is chewing gum. He wants you to get sticky gum, like mastic, not sticky, I should say hard gum,
right.
like mastic gum, and or buy a gum. I bought some xylitol gum, and believe it or not, you know how like you eat a piece of already been chewed gum and it's make it into a ball? Yeah. So I just set it there. The next day it's harder, right? And you just try and chew for about an hour. You want to build up that back jaw. The other thing that's a really big thing in terms of our facial structure, our breathing, and our body structure is teeth extraction. And unfortunately, I was a victim of that. And I'm what they call a 4 bicuspid, meaning the orthodontists in the 70s told my mom she's got a little mouth and too many teeth. So let's pull 4 teeth. So let's pull 1, 2, 3, 4, let alone then later, as a teen, let's pull her wisdom teeth.
Right.
So in fact, I am missing 8 permanent teeth.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have room for all of our teeth.
Yeah.
And you've heard me say that our teeth are actually like a switchboard. You know when you go to your circuit breaker board? Every tooth is connected to an organ gland meridian system. When you remove teeth, you're removing some of your functionality there.
Wow.
But what's really sad is that you start to see how it impacts your breathing and quite frankly, I think longevity and lifespan and mortality. So we're going to be talking a little bit about this because I'm going to share as I'm learning. I'm going to be missing the show on Tuesday because I'm going down to see a practitioner, developer, doctor who created a technique called the neurocranial restructuring technique. And I thought maybe today we'd highlight a little bit of it, and then I can report back. And Dr. Dean Howe is a naturopathic doctor, and he created this technique. And I want to share with you all a little bit about what NCR is and how is it different from other therapies. And it's really an ultimate cranial sacral or cranial therapy, working on the head bones. Because within everyone's genetic code, there's a blueprint for a perfectly shaped skull and size. And most people, however, never achieve that because perhaps birth traumas, forceps, okay, vaginal delivery through these ever-increasing these smaller pelvis of women today, nutritional deficiencies, and just to interject, where we've always thought that the poor skeletal development or teeth development, as Weston Price's book said, was due to diet, Dr. Mew challenges that diet was a factor, but it was really our lack of...
It's how we made it.
We didn't eat, we no longer ate hard foods. We didn't have to chew as long, okay? And this posture, this choice of oral posture versus mouth breathing, it's choosing not to properly, hang your mouth. Lips sealed, teeth together, tongue on the roof of your mouth.
I remember when I was out in the woods as a kid, we usually chewed on something, whether it was a reed of some kind or a thistle of some kind or the sap from a pine tree. We were always sticking something in the mouth and chewing on it. And lately I haven't done any of that. I never liked chewing gum. Because of the sweetness of it, I guess.
And I'd gotten away from chewing gum, but what he really wants people to do, because we have primarily a soft diet today.
Yeah, so now you
says it's like an exercise we need to do to keep these jaws. But getting back to the ultimate cranial therapy is, these birth traumas, these nutritional deficiencies, poor dental work, poor oral posture, or accidents and illness. And NCR can restore your skull's shape to its optimal design, allowing you to look and feel your best. So I found that very interesting because we've all been told or sold that the cranial sutures in our skulls fuse as we get older. Remember, there's the baby soft spots and then the idea that our skulls fuse. But what new research has said, and Dr. Mew posits that these cranial sutures are movable. Think about someone who has a stroke. I mean, think about Stephen Hawking, for example, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he has quite a different looking, quite a different looking face.
Yeah.
He suffered that disease, and over time, as an adult, his face changed. Well, if our face can change that way, can our face change? Can our brain?
Can it change back?
Can it change back? And so we're just going to share this information, and I'll keep you updated on my journey. We'll get back talking about neurocranial restructuring.
Right back.
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. So we're talking about neurocranial reconstruction from the site ncr-uk.com.
Yeah, that's the UK site.
Yeah, and it's just a better site.
Well, yeah, I just like it, because it really gives us some of the benefits.
So let me introduce this.
Talk about it.
NCR, the latest and most profound physical medicine technique available on the world today, has been developed to help patients overcome various pain patterns and dysfunctions of the nervous system that emulate from poor or less than optimal skeletal structures. This is really interesting because despite what is written in old anatomy textbooks and that the adult skull isn't one solid piece of bone where all the joints are fused together. Research undertaken by these people have utilized precise and sensitive sensors placed on the head have proven that all 22 cranial bones move rhythmically during chewing, biting, and swallowing in a healthy person's.
That's right. That's
so if you're not healthy, the bones don't move rhythmically because of a trauma. The flow of fluid that bathes the brain, all this stuff is impaired. The connective tissue becomes torqued, and the patient becomes symptomatic. By your face starts to change.
So let's talk about it. How is it different from other therapies? I think you and I are on two different pages, so I'm drawing a curve. But, you know, it represents kind of a paradigm shift in physical medicine away from more symptom-driven therapies, which only provide temporary relief, to more what's the causation? What's causing this dysfunction? And traditional physical medicine techniques and conventional allopathic medicines have a very low success rate at treating musculoskeletal problems and pain patterns. And the NCR approach is to assess the whole body, not just the area causing the pain. And only when this stability, or rather instability pattern, is identified can effective treatments be done. And a lot of people may have heard of craniosacral therapy, or what we call SOT, chiropractic. And so just to make a distinction, just to help people get a visual. Because I'm just learning about all these things. And I think, you know, had I known about some of this stuff earlier, it might have been really helpful for Austin. But craniosacral or SOT chiropractic treatments are primarily concerned with the rhythmic flow of the fluid that bathes the brain and spinal cord, the cerebral spinal fluid. So a therapist will attempt to improve the flow of your cerebral spinal fluid by balancing the cranial bones and spinal vertebrae using only their hands and applying a very light force, only around 5 grams or enough to squish a grape. That's all it takes. Our body responds to these very light pressures. And because of the anatomy of our cranial bones, the sphenoid bone, which is the central bone of the skull, is very difficult to move using your hands. It's in the center of the skull. Well, NCR is concerned with the flow of cerebral spinal fluid also, but its primary objective is to increase the stability of the body in relation to gravity and improve the function of the whole musculoskeletal and the nervous system. And so what they do, okay, is the NCR technique utilizes endonasal balloons to manipulate the difficult-to-access sphenoid bone. And it can take up to 25 pounds of force directly applied to the sphenoid bone to release tensions in the connective tissues, a lot of that fascia that might be distorting your face, and these jammed craniofacial sutures. And by manipulating the central bone of the skull, which is the sphenoid, the cranial bones can be realigned and slowly change shape because the bone is a living tissue with a blood supply. And these incremental changes in skull shape and position directly affect the flow of cerebral spinal fluid. And the goals of both craniosacral therapies and the NCR are similar, but they utilize very different treatment techniques. So craniosacral work is very relaxing, and actually Dr. Walters in my office, the chiropractor, he calls himself a craniopath. Okay. He you know, instead of messing with the whole spine, he works on the cranial bones and the spine follows. Okay. And you need to come in, by the way. Have that. But what happens with this neurocranial restructuring is they actually put little balloons up your nose and inflate them. Yeah. And this realigns.
Well, I could use some of that. One of the problems I've had when I was about 19, I was in an accident. I had something hit me here. I was racing a car. And it cracked my nose in 7 places, knocked out a couple of teeth on the top, one on the bottom. So, you know, I've got the implants and everything like that. So I've never really had teeth loss, except they were replaced.
Right.
So that was cool. But I've always had sinus problems because...
and probably a little deviated.
Definitely
just
deviated.
Like Austin, you know. But see, think about it. Yours was a trauma where you deviated, or if you had craniofacial anomalies where the cranial sutures weren't moving in the right direction, or the fascia is pulling in one direction, couldn't that pull your nose and cause your septum? So when you start to look at it, why aren't we getting these therapies to children when we're even more malleable? Why aren't we hearing about these options? Why weren't you given that option? Hey, look, get some cranial work.
Well, part of the problem is that our conventional way of looking at things is just getting rid of those symptoms and not the underlying problem. One of the things that's happening today, though, a lot of the alternative medicines are kind of spilling over now into conventional.
Well, we should hope that.
Well, there are doctors that do both.
Yes.
And so I think this is a good thing. This is where the shift is, I think, right now, that sooner or later, remember D'Agostino over at the university here, that's doing keto analysis for cancer patients, having very, very good luck.
I love the idea of us doing collaboration. I'm a big firm believer. But what's very interesting is what's old is new, what's new is old. And I have this notepad that I'm keeping on this, and the old traditional Chinese medicine doctors were bone setters. They were doing this thousands of years ago, resetting with their hands. And
well, it's like Weston A. Price, you know, the most famous dentist in the world, and most dentists don't know about it.
They don't teach his work because they want it to go away. I'm sorry, but that's the truth.
Well, whatever it is, they're certainly not going towards it. And now people are opening up and asking their dentists. I have a dentist that works out with me, and I asked him about Weston Price. He had no clue. He started doing the research. He goes, oh, wow, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So,
and yet, you know, he was the head of the Dental Association.
Exactly.
So why, it makes no sense why they wouldn't.
Because they're going in a different way.
There's a profit motive because, you know, the root canals and the drilling and filling and billing
is
part of it.
something they can do very easily, gets rid of the symptoms, and the people are gone, and you got your money.
So, Ken, here we go. So, remember I said we're seeing the tie-in, and this is why people like the orthotropic doctors are embracing NCR. It's so much so that the Doctors Mew, in the UK, they've actually got an NCR practitioner in their office. So, for example, can the NCR treatments replace some dental work? How long after treatment should I wait before having dental work, and can it be combined with dental work? And it's not going to replace your restorative dentistry. You will still need to see your dentist, preferably one that uses biocompatible materials and not toxic ones.
And more are.
But if you have any TMJ dysfunction or considering orthodontics or craniofacial orthopedics, then NCR may be of real benefit. Most dentists treating TMJ dysfunction do so using splints and orthotics. And they are attempting to improve the mechanics of the TMJ, but unfortunately often have limited success because they are only working on one part of the skull, you know, without thinking about the rest of the body. And I'm just realizing this jaw just can control the whole body. If you look at us from a top-down position, you know, we really need to be worried about this. So these findings of breathing problems and TMJ, this isn't just a little thing because it's in your face. It's a big deal, guys. And so you really want to wait to do any dental restructuring until you've been having your NCR treatments. When we get back, I'm going to give you a little more info about that.
Okay, we'll be right back, folks. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back. We're talking about the neurocranial techniques, the restructuring techniques. And the treatment involves a 1-hour session with a qualified therapist on 4 consecutive days.
So I'm leaving Friday. I'm going to have it, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
This is referred to as the NCR series. The treatment series starts with a full medical history being taken both orally and written to allow the therapist to build a complete picture of the patient's current state of health and determine the appropriate treatment plan. Then the patient lies face down, fully clothed on a massage table. This is part of the treatment. Involves two-handed body work with it's a temporary
Well, it's kind of the aim of it, temporarily improving the structural symmetry and relaxing the patient's nervous system to make it move more into a parasympathetic state. And Nico, that's what I've been telling you.
So getting the body to relax first, so then the jaw and everything can relax, or is that?
I have found out that so many of us are not getting the quality of sleep at night because we're staying in a state of sympathetic stress. The nervous system has 2 states, either sympathetic, which is fight or flight, or parasympathetic, which is rest, restore, and repair. And the implication of your jaw and your bite and where your teeth are can just completely throw this off.
So actually, the structure of our society, with our working insanely all the time and the pressures of modern living, really are completely different than our primitive ancestors, which were much more relaxed. Even some of the white people who first saw them called them lazy because they were just hanging out and having a good time. So the stress that builds up is really what's driving
Well, we don't get into rest and repair if we don't get in. I mean, we have to have a state of both. I mean, if there's if there's a tiger coming, we need to be. I mean, there's part of sympathetic.
But if you're under stress on a continuous basis, just from the job, from the education, from listening to TV and the 5 stations that spew the news out there, those things can keep you under stress.
Well, for example, you should never eat dinner with the news on because your brain, their goal is to keep you in sympathetic, fear, fear, fear. So if you're trying to eat, how can you digest and rest and repair? But let's get back to this. After they do the external body work, the therapist then begins the external cranial work, working on the head. And the patient's skull is analyzed using precision measurements to establish any distortion patterns. And the therapist, using only their hands, attempts to roll or slide the skull bones into a more symmetrical alignment pattern. This technique is very similar to old school craniopathy, which has been around for over 100 years. That's what I was getting at, folks. Our old osteopaths, you know how we have MDs and DOs? Well, my feeling is that today's DO has become medicalized because they really wanted to be treated the same as an MD, so they had to give it up so they could write scripts. But if you can find a traditional osteopath, I think they're like gold. Because a manipulative osteopath, they learn these skills. So the patient is then asked to stand, and the therapist assesses the whole body stability patterns in relation to gravity, and they use proprioceptive testing. And this technique challenges the body's stability and how its nervous system responds to those challenges. Again, Dr. Walters in my office does a lot of this.
Yep, very interesting.
And really, based on all of these tests, once the therapist has concluded it, they obtain an accurate picture of the patient's body stability, or rather instability, for that day, and they're placed back on the massage table, and using blocks and rollers and wedges, they make adjustments to help the body get into its maximally stable position. But the final part of each day of the treatment involves precisely inserting a deflated endonasal balloon into the top of the throat through one of the 6 nasal passages. So you really have six on each side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And where am I? And they
the final part of the treatment?
Yeah, so one of the 6 nasal passages, and they inflate it to move the central bone of the skull, which is that sphenoid. And this part of the treatment realigns the cranial bones and unwinds tensions in the connective tissue through the whole body. It's very quick, it's painless, and it permanently makes incremental changes to the patient's structure and moving you more towards your optimal. And the patient is then asked to stand again, and they check to see that you've become more stable in your body.
Very interesting. There's a little video here, too, that you can play when you go to the site. Again, that site is...
NCR-UK. You can just go to the NCR. Actually, this is the one in the UK, one of the practitioners, but you'll learn, you can Google Dr. Dean Howe, who is the creator. I'm excited because I'm going to try this, and I'm mostly doing it because I want to check it all out, and I want to talk to him about my son's case. But I'm very interested in expanding my sinuses, and many times this,
I am
this
too,
helps
because
to
mine are always
expand the
blocked
face.
up. I'm always sniffling. I mean, this has been something that's been going on ever since I was 19. Before that, not much of a problem. So I see it as a correlation. Yeah.
Because we're all, we did not reach our genetic potential due to this whole phenomena, where our faces weren't encouraged to grow forward, and as a result, most of us do not have the projection in terms of our maxilla and our xiphoid bones, and so our sinuses are more compressed. And as we age, these things tend to fall back, and this can compress the airways. Yeah. So it's up and forward. And so I'm very excited to learn more about it, and to see if this is going to help people that I love, and myself. I'm very interested in it. And many people want to know what's the difference. You know, why do your conventional chiropractic or even your osteopathy, if you're lucky enough to have an osteopath, why do they rarely last? Why do you have to keep going to get adjustments? And, you know, when we have localized manipulation of the spine and pelvis, they apply force to the body in a more symmetrical alignment, but it's not always a more stable position, and the body needs to keep a stable head posture and therefore make compensatory changes in the body. So whereas conventional chiropractic or osteopathic manipulations are focused on secondary symptoms and not the primary cause, it's usually a temporary thing. The body has memory, and it kind of goes back to where it was. And the idea of this trademarked NCR is by correcting the primary dysfunction in the shape and position of the head. This will allow the compensatory changes in the body to normalize and provide long-lasting relief. So
now I'm reading the published research on this, and boy, there's a lot of research on this. So this has been going on for quite a while, all the way back to 2002. I see papers, 2000, 1998. So this research has been going quite a while. And,
I'm very excited because I'm getting to meet, you know, the creators of this, and we'll be keeping you posted. Maybe we can throw this in. I think this is a great list to add to our next newsletter. As a follow-up is a list of about 25 books or so, 20 books, and I thought it was interesting that Dr. Howe's reading list is very much what I recommend. Books that we've talked about here, you guys will recognize some of the titles there. But let's go, if we can, Nico, and we'll get ready for the next. We got an app. I know, but I just want to introduce the next thing I want to talk about as it relates to this. We'll go into jaw development. We call it a rich man's problem.
Oh yes,
how did we get here?
Really interesting article.
Yeah, how did we get here? So we're talking about these structural problems. Is the cranial development giving us a less developed jaw, vice versa? Or how are these related? And we'll be right back to make sure and pick up some of that Primal Edge, and stick with us for more interesting info to keep you healthy.
We'll be right back, folks.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Welcome back, and we're talking from the site Jaw Development, Rich Man's Problems. White civilized men with small jaws and African tribal men with big jaws, wide dental arch. And of course the American Indian, when we came here, they had nice wide set jaws too.
So with this blogger, claimingpower.com, he's got an interesting blog where he's kind of gone through his jaw restructuring. So, but what he's saying is it's not genetic, but what is happening to us right from birth in modern civilization is that what's happening is we're getting poor jaw development. And as I said, the jaw is impacting our structure. And because science has found that genetic differences between different races of humans is surprisingly small, even between Caucasians and Africans. But the variations between these individual facial skeletons taken from single civilized populations are often large, making it more probable that it's the environment. And you and I have been sharing that living a primal lifestyle is not your genes or don't control your destiny, it's the environment.
Yes, and here the headline is that Weston Price was wrong in regards to the cause of
malocclusion.
This.
Malocclusion means a bad bite.
But I think it's probably the combination. I don't think that...
Well, I think that Dr. Mew has, I mean, he's very controversial. You know, he's saying that in the studies they found that many civilizations that had adequate vitamins A, it's really A and vitamin K that they found, you know, that's why the cod liver oil.
Right.
But, you know, we're reading this from this guy, but he says, sorry to all the Weston Price enthusiasts out there, but when it comes to jaw development and the cause of crooked teeth, it has little to do with your nutrition or the nutrition your parents grew up on, but everything to do with your facial muscles and how you use your jaws. And, you know, it's like he said, he had a very health-conscious Asian mother who raised him on a good diet with plenty of seafood, far from the sad diet, but he still developed a malocclusion and a bad bite. So look at the incidence of braces. I mean, there's hardly a kid today that doesn't have a visit to the orthodontist. It's been extremely profitable for that form of business.
So if it's not the actual nutrition of the food, I think that's involved in it, certainly. It's probably the way we're using the food and what we're doing to the food to make it softer.
Mm-hmm. Many tribal people today still develop excellent skull development with wide dental arches, but most of them do not have access to the butter oil or cod liver oil, is his point. Many of them, you know, they never had the nutritional stuff that Weston A. Price. So I think there's a way to put this all together. And many of these people, he's exactly right. In Africa, you'll see they much more attractive facial structure.
If you'll show it on the telestrator here, it's just a nice, broad, wide smile. And
room for all their teeth.
Yeah, and these are people that are living in Africa. And probably nutrition is not...
So why do rich kids, relatively rich, our country, develop teeth crowding? In short, rich kids are more likely to leave their mouths open and swallow improperly. So we're not nursed. Like, these children are breastfed to optimal breastfeeding time of 2 to 3 years, and the breastfeeding encourages the proper tongue position on the roof of the mouth.
Right.
With that happening, then the jaw muscles and the facial muscles are all, the habit is formed.
Because while you're sucking on that nipple, your tongue is doing a lot of work there, shoving the nipple up into the
to get the
space.
Negative pressure. Industrialized families, or the richer kids, the mothers begin using more bottle feeding, which forces babies to open their mouth and leave the tongue low in the mouth to let air in so they can get the milk to come out of the bottle. And this begins to teach them how to oral breathe instead of the mother's nipple, which requires negative pressure, so they are forced to keep their mouth completely closed and only nasal breathe.
And in modern lifestyle, babies are fed mush, you know, the purified type of baby foods. Remember, we talked a few weeks back about the lady who went all meat, and then she gave her 2-year-old just a bone. And
that's right.
He started figuring it out. She said he just started chewing on it and was happy and satisfied, didn't want anything else.
And that is the truth, that chewing and that jaw motion. The proper swallow is the tongue against the roof of the palate. And see, if you think about the upper jaw, or the maxilla, which is really kind of the beauty, the projection of the maxilla creates a more beautiful face. That's important, and you get that through proper development.
So I'm excited to hear what is going on when you come back then.
That's right. I guess we're all done.
A few weeks for me, but...
yeah, we'll follow up on it.
Yep. Thanks for sticking around, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.